Welcome back to the channel, my YouTube familia. This is Prof. Fredericks again, your professor, your father, and your football coach. Today I want us to talk about a particular topic. I don't know, maybe some of you would actually comment down below, and I also hope that you are liking my videos. Yeah, please like my videos and then also subscribe because I'll be sharing a host of topics and things that we can discuss. Yeah. So what I want to find out from you, my listener, my subscriber, and those who are not also subscribers, is that what's your view? How do you feel being an African? Because why I'm asking this particular question is, I have realized, or there is a trend, ongoing trend that we have got this self hatred as Africans, that we are not happy that we are Africans. And anything foreign or Western is what we stand for. Why I am asking, asking you this particular question is that because if you look at it, recently, I think it was around July, and some of the guys, the male would actually put things on their statuses to say, the English Premiership is starting very soon. Ladies, you must know that there's no time. And then I was thinking about it. The very same person who talks about the English Premiership is starting, or who's so worried about when the Premiership is starting, doesn't even know when the Namibian Premier League is starting. But this is an African problem. This is an African problem. And during my time in South Africa, when I was studying there, I've realized that when you look at the African communities there, the black population that side would support the local football, but the rest would subscribe to English Premiership and so on. So yeah, it's from that angle, and not only that. If you go around, I live in Windhoek here, the capital city of Namibia, and you go around, you'd always find people wearing Barcelona jerseys, Arsenal, and any other team, Bayern Munchen, you can name them, but they would never wear their local, jerseys. And those are some of the challenges of being an African, that we simply do not like our own. I know that I've had this discussion with a number of people, especially those who support football, and some would say no, but our football is at a very low level. That says that you are at a low level, you yourself. So don't divorce us today to think that because you like English Premiership or you like the Spanish La Liga, that you are better than us. You are part of us. That's the unfortunate part. As Africans. So, as a Pan African scholar, you would realize that I am always pro African. Anything African goes with me. So, even if it's bad, it can be terrible. That's me. And I know that we have been brainwashed that whatever African is useless. I don't believe in that and I don't subscribe to that. But I know there are others out there who believe like that. That, being an African, they even regret being African, and to the point that anything foreign goes. I remember when I was younger and we had this uncle, and then the uncle would always tell me that apparently when he goes to see, the doctors at the clinic, if he just sees a white doctor, he's already fine. By virtue of just seeing that white person, apparently he would already feel, better. And if he sees a African doctor, then he would feel uncomfortable, and that's the trend. So it's very difficult, so people out there should understand, and it must be a very difficult thing to be an African, and especially for some of us who are pan-African. I'm pro-African. Anything African goes, as I mentioned. So for some of us it's very difficult because I would never copy. There are a number of people, we are out there. There are people who really wish that they were in America. and then you find some of us. I don't really care. I'm one of those people who is not interested in going to America. People talk about this, the citizenship, what. I don't care. I mean, if their life is better that side, I love my Namibia, and things can be better in Europe in where I rather prefer to build my nation, in the best possible way. So I don't care, and I don't get impressed by, what others have achieved. We know the colonial history of our African countries, whereby our resources actually built, a number of other countries. I don't want to give names or mention any countries, but we know the history. If you go back, then you would see that how much our resources actually empowered some other European countries as well. So, and if you look at the approaches, like I mean, the Eurocentric approaches that we have got, I'm in the academic space, as I mentioned the other time. You would find that someone is so worried about a university ranking, and university ranking this and that, and so on. Do you tell me, or are you telling me that the criteria that is being used there is favorable to African universities? Not at all. You can try whatever you want, but still, some of those the criterion that they are using would always favor, Western universities, whether you like it or not, or whoever out there. So Africa, we are always at the lower end, unless if we start our own ranking system, and because we know what we want, but not a Eurocentric one, but our own, whereby we actually rate our African universities. Yeah. So if we don't do that, it's highly impossible. It is not a fair kind of ranking. So because I'm also into football, let's talk about this. How many of you also believe that an African country would never win the football World Cup? You are not alone. So many of the people out there believe that we are not capable. But let me tell you something again. Do you think, and I really want you to sleep over this, in the past, now, I mean, it has been increased, but in the past, it used to be, let's say, 32 countries, that would qualify for a World Cup. And then Africa was given five spots. Yeah, Africa was given five, South America, five, I think, yes. And Europe, I remember it was around 13. Now, if you look at that 13 is already an advantage for Europe. So if we want a fair competition, give us five, 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 five Africa, five Europe, five South America, five Asia, and then it's going to be fair. But it's unfair. It's unfair for us to think of winning in a World Cup, because the system is designed in such a way that you also believe that we are not good enough. You are being brainwashed to believe that we are not good enough. You see, think about it this way. How many of you are aware that African countries have already won the under 17 FIFA World Cup, under 20 World Cup, Olympics? African teams have already won that. Nigeria, Cameroon, Ghana, they've won at those levels. Why do you think that's the case? It's because at that level, Europe is not getting 13 spots. It's equal. So it's more or less equal. If Africa gets five, they get five. These ones get five, and so it's equal. So let's talk about the odds. You'd realize that in life, if someone has got 13 chances out of 32, and you only have got five, what do you think? You want us to perform miracles when the system is actually designed to favor someone else? So that's life. That's being an African. That's being an African. It's not easy. So yeah, these are some of the things that we are thinking about critically. I know, in our spaces, at least Prof. Lumumba is talking about these issues of, our African situation. Honorable Malema also actually talks about, the Pan-African situation, and some of us, are from the academic side of things, whereby we are even saying we need to decolonize things like linguistics. We need to decolonize linguistics. Yeah, so there's just so much that needs to be done, and it's not easy. So, guys, what do you think of that? Do you really believe we are that bad as Africans? To me, I am contrary to such beliefs that Africans, or we are terrible. And from my end, I would say it's high time that we believe in our own. The fact that you buy a Manchester United jersey, you are the one empowering them. Before you buy that Manchester United jersey, go out and buy your local football team jersey. That's how you build your own. You don't say we are useless. Or, they actually disassociate themselves from our things. They would say Namibian Premier League is useless. No, I don't watch that league. I'm not interested in that. African what? You are part of us. And you could be the reason why we are lagging behind. Because you are much more worried about the neighbor. If the neighbor builds a very beautiful house, don't just sit there and then you are in awe, like, no. Think about your own. Go build your small one. And then you start slowly but surely. Even if it takes many years, you can reach where that neighbor is. So, guys, in Africa, I think we are losing the plot. Please, please think about these things. Think about these things. We have been blaming colonialism for many, many years. So many of the African countries are independent now, but we are still copycats. Whatever, the West decides, we will copy. We are very good at that. In Africa, we are very good at that. We are so impressed by what the Westerners are doing. We are impressed. If America you just hear America this, America that, 3 o'clock in the morning, Donald Trump wakes up and thinks about something, and then he introduces it that side. Then you would see, yeah, our leaders are already talking about that. It's very bad. Being an African is not easy. So I'm into this space, for example, the academic space. And I will still talk about some academic issues in the future. But this is a generic topic about why Africans have got this self-hatred. Why do you hate yourself so much? Why? So think about it. Why do you hate yourself? You know, yeah, we need to love ourselves first before others can love us. But now if you hate yourself, what do you expect from others? At least let's follow the example of Asia, whereby they are very proud with their cultures, with what they are doing, and they are not copycats like us. They invent their own things. They invent their own things. That's why, when you talk of the economic powers, China is there. It's not backing down. If America, does this, then China would come up. They would respond. And everything of most of the things are rooted in their culture. But for us, who are so proud, some would even call themselves Francophone, being colonized by French, we, the Francophone countries. That's how you guys actually engage. The ones who were colonized by the British, we, the Anglophones. We, the Anglophones. We are so proud. We want to make sure that our colonial masters must actually get that respect. And in my case, why I'm using, talking about Anglophone and British and English and so on, is why I'm using English is because of our multilingual dimension. In our countries, we are multilingual. People would understand me, using whatever language. But that pride, why should you be so proud of being Anglophone, or Francophone country? Why should you be? So let's stop this of, praising our colonial masters. So those are the things we need to talk about as Africans. As a Pan-African, I'm challenging you today. Think about it critically. Before you are in awe as to what is happening on the other side, leave the neighbor alone. Do your own thing. Let's change our countries. In Africa, I've seen we enjoy running from this country to the other and to the other and to the. No, let's fix our own. Let's fix. Leave Europe alone. They are fixing their things. We know, I mean, the historical background, but still, let's fix our own. Thank you very much, my YouTube family, for listening. So, and you must know that these are frank discussions, straight from the heart, from an African to an African. I salute you. Thank you very much. Please like and subscribe.